morning, everyone.
Hello.
Happy Saturday.
It is Saturday.
Yeah. Great to have you guys with me. Thanks for joining.
Great to be here.
It was fun.
Yeah. And let's see, we've got 16 people. Welcome, 15, 16. Welcome, everyone. Hello, Jory and Susie Carta. And then we've got Katie Miller joining us from Australia. Good day. Judith Fry from Kentucky. It's raining, but glad it's not snow. Christine Miller, hello. And Mahavalin Jester, good morning. Day Mellon, the first, joining us from North Wales. And Lisa Gervais from Canada. Then let's see, Beata Isabella Hauer from Austria. Very international audience this morning. I love it. Yeah. Crystal J. Audrey Martin, another Kentucky WikiTreeer joining us. Murray Maloney, another Canadian. Hi, Murray. And Chris Ferriolo. Vicky Blanco from Chile. Welcome. Kathy Bauer, Virginia. They're all pouring in now. Terry Parks, Columbus, Ohio. This is great. Chief Family Genealogy Officer from the Rockies. And Willadine Adams from North Carolina. Linda Corsi from Oregon. So when I was brand new, this was always one of my favorite parts of the Saturday Roundup LiveCast was getting a shout out from Mags.
Nice.
Yeah. And David Dodd slipping in at the last minute. So Greg, where Lisa is asking, where are Greg's and Mags? So they Mags is a little under the weather, on the mend. And Greg had some musical obligations. So I have Azure and Eowyn with me. So we're going to do all the stuff. So Eowyn, you want to kick us off with question of the week?
Sure. And my phone did too. Okay, this was a fun one this week. There's great answers. If you wrote a novel about your family history, what would the title be? So Azure and Betsy, I'm going to make you guys answer that at the end. If you have an interest, think about what you would call your novel. So Victor Rose, the Rose family divorces. Apparently there's a lot of divorces in his Rose line. David Draper actually is writing a historical fiction about his family. Raging Tides looks like what he was considering. We want to read it when you're done, David. Alexis, Why Don't We Visit Grandpa in the Hospital Anymore? A book about a family keeping secrets.
Huh.
I'm intrigued. I would read
That's
it.
Great. I would pick that one up and read.
Definitely.
I'd call it Stong with no R. Oh, that's funny. Instead of strong. And there's a book, actually, an actual book about his family. Buckskin Breeches from the Iowa area. Oliver Stegan did write a family history, and I am not even going to try. 30 November Taj Familienbriefe an mein Kinder. I think that means 30 November, like a family history on my children, for my children.
What language is it in?
German.
Oh, yeah. Don't know.
Yeah, he said, well, let's see. He wrote it with the help of NaNoWriMo, where you try and write during the month of November.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, uh-huh.
And during the 30 days, that's what he wrote, hence the title. So 3 copies were under the Christmas tree for his kids 3 weeks later.
Oh, very special.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good NaNoWriMo goal. I'll have to remember that. Maggie Church, hers would be Church by the Sea, about the Church family and the Sea family who were moving out west after the Civil War via a wagon train. Jane Bean says, The Riddle of Mike John Compagnoni's Ancestry. Wouldn't it be good? A kind of magic. Goody two shoes. 4 seasons spring. So lots of stuff in there. Alice Thompson. Growing up on the road, she moved an average of 5 times a year, 4 schools a year until high school. That's a lot. Then she joined the army and moved all over this place.
Wow, yeah.
I get that. My dad was Air Force. We moved not that much, but we did move a lot. And I still today want to keep moving. Let's see. Pat Brunson, how to squat in 3 to 5 years without ever interacting with the community. That could be helpful. Liza, secrets in the family. Always intriguing. Chris, it's still all roads lead to, I'm going to say it wrong, Haverhill?
Haverhill, yeah.
Haverhill.
Is it Haverhill?
Haverhill.
I think it's Haverhill. I think people would always say Haverhill, and then he would be like, no, it's Haverhill. I think that's what I remember. I'm sure he'll tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Audrey.
Well, I
There he
don't
goes.
hope you're not wrong, or you are.
Which one?
Yes.
Haverhill. Yeah,
Haverhill.
there's no.
Haverhill. Okay, so I was half right.
Yeah.
Audrey Martin, I shook the tree. The nuts fell into the nut house. That could be a lot of our families. Katrina says, I've got a circle in my tree. That's a good one. Christine Miller, her sister was going through chemo and told her she should write the family history. Christine told her that was impossible, and her sister told her she had to, and that she had to call it Because I Said So. Because her sister told her to. James Olson, Among the Leaves. That's nice.
Yeah. Very poetic.
6 families, 6 generations, the legacy and secrets they created together in their own words through letters and diaries. If you have that many letters and diaries, that's pretty awesome.
That would be cool.
Mm.
Let's see. Who's this? Oh, Ray did it with a chat GPT. Frontier Legacy, a saga of American pioneers. That's one of them. Beyond the Horizon, a family's quest for manifest destiny. So he had a bunch there. A doll with half its hair left was Emma Youngblood. There's a story there. For sure. Moving west for 400 years until we fell off California. That was Christina Adams. That's a fun one. How accurate does this book have to be? My journey into genealogy. Oh, that's funny. She said, my middle brother and his wife were filling in a baby book for their oldest child. They were asking my parents questions about their families. When my dad asked, how accurate does this book have to be? He then proceeded to tell us that he was adopted. None of us knew, not even my mom.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
That's, yes, Rob Neff. Well, that's a bit of a bombshell.
Huh.
Let's see. How much time am I allowed for this? Because I'm entertained, but I don't want to take up like the whole time.
Oh, you can, just shout out the rest of the titles.
It's just one of those where they're all really fun.
I know, exactly.
John Opensky, the king of nothing, since he discovered his bloodline to many noble and royal families of Europe. Michael Rostron recently published posthumous memoirs of his great-grandfather, who was a stagecoach driver in Yellowstone Park. He called it The Roving Fitzgeralds. Oh, my aching heart. That's what Nelson Weller says. Ow. That sounds sad.
Huh.
Christian Osborne would call hers Wormhole. Susan Thomas, moving on, a story about the constant search for the perfect place to make home and thrive. Kathy Woodard, There Were Secrets. Duane Ponce actually wrote a novel about his family called The Ghosts of St. Pierre.
Who is that?
Duane Ponce? Los Manitos Montoya. That's one. Jean Gay Thomas would call hers My Clans. Gail Ivey, The Far Hills of Gold. She actually wrote a novel, and that's what it's called.
Wow, I love it. I love it when there's actually books that were written.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Cool. Sherry Sievert, her daughter wrote her story. Her daughter wrote Sherry's story in a book called Search for Dixie Lee. She was adopted when she was 2.5 years old, had no idea what her nationality was, and found her maternal side of her birth family when she was 60.
Wow.
1 full sister, 9 half siblings. Shannon Baker, all the nuts in my family tree. Steve Cross, Don't Be a Stranger. Lee Heindel, 2 dudes from Germany. I like that one. Laura Rader has written a novel based on family history. It's titled Hatfield 1677. The Many Broken Branches of the Turner Family Tree. Linda Bell. Without a doubt, I would call my novel Finding Michael. It was a 15-year search, but ultimately solved bringing together a daughter who never knew who her father was, and her mother in Wales, aged 100 years old, to finally look at an image of her father and a history of her Scottish family.
Wow.
That's good. Would be good. James Brooks. Because when I was born in 1949 and taken away immediately because my mother was a single mother, I should have gone to the movies that night. It would probably have been her choice. Bob Simmons. Clandeggery. That's what he would call his. Let's see. John Baskey. I think it would be where in the, who in the, what in the. Michelle Serio in All Directions. Patrick Holland, Unraveling the Past with the byline, join me on an epic journey into the unknown world of Ancestry. Betsy Niehoff, Tough Customers, Strong Women, and the Occasional Drinker. Guessing there's a bar in that story.
Yep.
Mike Jonas, not a novel, but I wrote up my ancestry for my grandchildren, and the title was The Guano Connection. It highlighted great-grandparents who only met because of bird droppings.
What? That's interesting.
One was the son of a farmer who used guano, which I'm guessing is bird droppings. The other was the daughter of a guano importer. I want to read that.
I think that's specifically funny. Bat.
Huh?
I think it's specifically bat droppings.
Oh.
Isn't it?
Bat droppings?
Guano.
Oh, guano is bat?
No, I mean, that's what they call it.
Oh, gotcha. Sally Hayes, hers would be everything they tell you is rubbish. Oh, like how human memory is fragile, so not everything here is true. Marge V, sweetness captured and preserved.
Oh, okay. Seabirds and bats.
Seabirds and bats?
Yeah.
Cool.
Just a little trivia there.
You always learn something on the Saturday Roundup.
I know, right? And it's always like very random. Marion Sturdy, Voyage into the Unknown and maybe the Unknowable. Stanley Baraboo says War and Peace. I think that one's already spoken for. Ramona Radzik, The Unknown Quarter, just a farmer's wife from Iowa. Chris Wine, Down the Long Twisted Roads of Central West Virginia, Genealogy. With the large families I descend from, Luther Brown says his might be, where did all these people come from?
Who are all these people?
Who are all these people? Lee Chestermaster, From Petty Thief to Pine Mountain, a book about my mother's convict ancestor who was sent to Australia at the age of 18. Apparently he was a bit of a rascal. Mildred Gillett, hers would be Secrets in the Family, A World of Hurt. Aw. April Kennedy, Extraordinarily Ordinary People, A History of Laughter, Love, and Loss.
Oh.
Carol Baldwin, My Nightmare and Welcome to It. Steve Ryan, The Playboy and the Priest. Michael Dodd, In Dodd We Trust. That's cute. And last but not least, Anthony Van Kampen, Into the Sunset. Papa, why are we moving?
Interesting.
That is the question of the week.
Awesome.
And it looks like.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, she got back to you about the name of the.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Family letters to my children. Okay.
You had it almost.
Yeah.
Close.
That was awesome.
Neat. As what would your novel or your family history novel be called?
I think something like what I was just taken from that one that somebody had said, but who are all these people, right? Or a play on the book, Passel of Peasleys, maybe a Passel of Peasleys and Robinsons, or I like the one On the Road Again, or lots of different ideas come to mind. How about you?
I think I would go with On the Water because, well, my father's family is from Taiwan, an island, and then my maternal grandfather was from Niagara Falls, and my maternal grandmother was from Bristol, where the Severn River is very prominent.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, water plays a big role.
How about you, Eowyn?
I have no idea. It would be funny, whatever it is. Yeah, it depends because I could, if it's about my adopted family or my biological family, or if I read about the two. It would be fun to write about the two because I couldn't come from two more completely opposite.
Yeah, like an intersection of
families. Yeah, it's like where would the common ground? There you go, common ground. That's what I call it. Because my adopted family is all, Europe and the New England and Wisconsin. They were conservatives and Republicans and like hardcore religious people. And then my biological family is still some Europe, but then like Spain, Portugal, Africa, Puerto Rico, New Mexico, and they're all Confederate soldiers and liberals and like Baptists, so like very different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
which
really
explains why I'm confused all the time because
all right.
Let's see, profiles.
All right.
So happy New Year, everyone. 新年快乐.
How do you say it?
新年快乐.
新年快乐?
Yeah, so it's literally Shin is new, Nian is year, and Kuaila is happy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So here are your example profiles of the week post. Which dragon are you most closely connected to? So, and I want to bring up let's see here. Close out of this. And we have our profiles, and then we have our roundup combat. We're going to try to follow through with what Greg started because everybody seemed to really enjoy that.
Right. So we need to get organized here. So Eowyn, do you want to do the person in the left-hand column? So you'll do Bruce Lee and I'll do Chuck Norris as we go along.
Sorry, I don't know what we're doing.
Oh, do you have the spreadsheet that
I don't. I could open it really quick with the link.
Private chat?
It's in the Saturday roundup, right?
Yeah, it's in the private chat too.
Oh, that would probably be easier.
So the profiles of the week are paired up by things they have in common, like dragons, authors, actors, and so Azure's going to present the pairs together, and while we're presenting a given pair, people in the chat are going to say, I'm closer to Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris. So do you see the spreadsheet?
I do.
Okay, so you want to take the ones on the left, and so you take Bruce Lee and I'll take Chuck Norris?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
And
so I think Betsy and I already preloaded who we're closest to and who are if we're cousin with somebody that gets extra points. So, so we've got that preloaded. So our first set of profiles, of course, are the focus for the connection combat that's actually going on G2G. I haven't actually got to finish mine. I think I was closer to Chuck Norris and a cousin. But we'll start with Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee was a Hong Kong American martial artist and actor, and the founder of the martial art. I don't know how to pronounce this, Jeet Kune Do, sometimes seen as a precursor to modern mixed martial arts. And he was born in Chinatown in San Francisco, but I believe that he grew up actually in Hong Kong. And he died there in 1973, unfortunately. So there's a nice picture of him as a baby on his profile. Check that out. All right. And then the second profile is for Chuck Norris. Happens to be a cousin. And of course, Chuck Norris is an American martial artist, actor, film producer, and screenwriter. He served in the United States Air Force and rose to fame as a martial artist and founded his own school, Chun Kuk Do. He was born in Ryan, Oklahoma, and grew up there in Oklahoma. He attended some school there in Torrance, California, though it looks like later in his school career. And then he married in 1958 in California, and his second marriage was in 1998 in Dallas, Texas. So
me?
So if there's a tie, like Katie Miller is 24 degrees from both Norris and Lee, they each get a point. So, okay, so I have 11 for Chuck Norris.
All right.
Me?
Yep, and how many do you have?
Oh, I just now realized what we're doing. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
So Bruce Lee is closer to you, Betsy, looks like.
Right.
Closer to Betsy.
Uh-huh. And Chuck is closest to me. How about Eowyn?
3. We have 3 for Lee.
Okay.
Woohoo.
I'll put it in the spreadsheet. Okay.
Is he your cousin, Eowyn, or which one are you closer to?
I'm closer to Chuck Norris.
Okay.
And just with one marriage.
Wow.
So.
And a cousin to either of them?
Nope.
Okay. So it looks like Chuck Norris won this roundup combat.
That's almost a knockout.
Yeah.
Haha. Yes.
So, but just to mention, Bruce Lee only has 291 connections within 7 degrees, and Chuck Norris has 1611. So, if anybody has interest there, that'd be great if we could add some connections to those profiles, to his profile, increase that, maybe get a little bit closer there. Okay, our next set of profiles. Let me just move over here. Let's see. Our next set of profiles is Cicely Isabel Fairfield Andrews, and she went by Rebecca West, an author. She's a novelist, journalist, literary critic, travel writer, and suffragette. So she was born in christened in 1893 in London, England. And in 1901, the family was living in Maidenhead. And they've got listed on her profile some of her major works.
I lived near Maidenhead.
After criticizing the novel Marriage by H.G. Wells, Cicely and H.G. Wells actually began a 10-year relationship. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
She also had relationships with Charlie Chaplin, Max Aiken, and journalist John Gunther. In 1949, she was made Order of the British Empire Commander in England. And in 1959, Order of the British Empire Dame Commander. Oh, looks like they've got it twice here. Okay. Well, Time magazine called her indisputably the world's #1 woman writer in 1947. And she was a recipient of the Benson Medal. She died in 1983 in London. And on hearing of her death, William Shawn, the then editor of the New Yorker, said, "Rebecca West was one of the giants and will have a lasting place in English literature. No one in this century wrote more dazzling prose or had more wit or looked at the intricacies of human character and the ways of the world more intelligently."
Wow.
Yeah. So she is 21 degrees from me and is a cousin. How about for you guys?
Cicely. So she's 26 degrees for me and my 14th cousin twice removed.
All right. And then go ahead.
We're just 25 degrees.
Nice. So the next profile is Marie, Marguerite, Claire, Louise, Anne Hebert. And she is 15 degrees. So she's my closest of the two and is also a cousin, 9th cousin there, twice removed. Again, a fairly large difference between the number of connections. So only 927 connections for Cicely, whereas Anne has 4,783.
Yeah.
And I love when there is a profile written, a biography written in the native language for the person. That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it shares a lot more information in French than it does in English. And though I have a little bit of French from school, not enough to read it. So just to say, she's an award-winning French-Canadian poet and author, and shares her baptismal name, and the name of her parents and godparents are listed there. And it looks like she's won some awards and honors. So definitely take some time and read her profile if you can, and maybe take it over into Google Translate and check it out. It looks like they've also listed some of her works there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Any
All right.
final votes? We'll give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I've got 11 for Anne Hebert.
Wow.
5 for Cicely.
All right.
Just like Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, they ended up at 5 and 11.
And which one is closest to you, Eowyn?
Which one's closest to me?
Yeah, did you say it was
Anne? Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it looks like Anne is the winner of that round. Okay, and the next set of profiles is Jean Moreau and Christopher Reeve. And it looks like I'm closest to Christopher Reeve at 20 degrees and a 9th cousin of him. And these ones, just to say, 143 connections for Jean, and we're at only 489 for Christopher Reeve. So it'd be great if we could get some added. Maybe think about adding to these profiles during the next Connect-a-thon. That'd be awesome.
Oh,
Good idea.
So Jean Moreau was born in Paris in 1928. Looks like she had 2 spouses and died in Paris again 2017. She was a French actress, singer, and director, and was the daughter of Anatole Desiree Moreau, who was the manager of La Cloche d'Or, a restaurant. And her mother was an English resident, or from England, Lancashire, and her name was Catherine Buckley. She was a former dancer at the Folies Bergère. I'm probably really, it's pronounced Jeanne, okay? I'm pronouncing things all messed up. Sorry, everybody. She received the César for Best Actress in 1992 and the Cannes Festival Award for Best Actress in 1960 and the BAFTA Award for Best Actress in Foreign Film in 1965. All right. And the second profile, of course, Christopher Reeve. This was my Superman when I was a kid growing up. So definitely close to my heart. So he was an actor, film director, producer, screenwriter, and author. And in 1995, of course, he became quadriplegic after being thrown from a horse in an equestrian competition in Virginia. And he required a wheelchair and breathing apparatus for the rest of his life. He lobbied on behalf of people with spinal cord injuries and for human embryonic stem cell research afterward, and founded the Christopher Reeve Foundation and co-founded the Reeve Irvine Research Center. He was born in Manhattan, New York City in 1952, and he married Dana Morosini in 1961. And he died in October 2004 in Mount Kisco, New York. So how are we looking for connections to you guys? Eowyn, is he, which one are you?
He's my 10th cousin. Wins for me.
All right. So he's your closest connection?
Yeah.
Cool.
And he is my closest connection and my 10th cousin.
Nice. So how are we looking in the chat?
Let's see. In the chat, 14 for Christopher Reeves.
Wow.
Reeve. Yeah.
Just a sec. I was all excited about Christopher Reeve, so that's how I counted. Sorry, I have a headache and my brain's not
Oh.
but I was really excited about Christopher Reeve. It looks like, let's see, 1, 2, 2 for Jen. I'll say it wrong too. Yeah, 2.
2. Okay. I'll put that on.
I got it.
Oh.
You got it.
Yeah.
All these different colored squares in there. Well, it looks like Christopher Reeve is definitely the winner of that one. Okay. So our next set of profiles is probably going to mess this up too. Leonie Farrell and John Nash. And it's Clarice Leonie Norwood Farrell. And John Forbes Nash. So my closest of those two is Leonie, but I'm cousin to both. Okay, 7th cousin to her.
Cool.
And she has the most connections at 1588, and he has 329. So Leonie was the first person to mass produce a vaccine in the history of medicine. I thought this profile was really interesting when I was reading through them last night. So she was born in Monkland Station, Ontario, and was raised in Toronto. She obtained her PhD in biochemistry at the University of Toronto when she was 29 years old, which was, of course, unheard of at the time. And her specialty was the study of fungi. And during her years of research, she came up with a method for producing safe vaccines in mass quantities. Her method is called the Toronto method. And this process was used in the production of vaccines used to fight chickenpox, measles, whooping cough, and polio. So although she was recognized by her colleagues, she continued to work in obscurity until her death in 1986. She actually lay in an unmarked grave until 2007, when her relatives erected a fitting headstone in the Park Lawn Cemetery in Toronto. I thought that was really interesting.
Wow.
So the second profile in this set is John Forbes Nash. And this, if you've seen the movie, I think it's A Beautiful Mind, this is who that movie is based off of. He's known and published as John Nash and was an American mathematician who made fundamental contributions to game theory. And you'll see there's an Appalachia biscuits sticker on there. He made fundamental contributions to game theory, real algebraic geometry, differential geometry, and partial differential equations. He and fellow game theorists John Harsanyi and Reinhard Selten were awarded the 1994 Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics. In 2015, he and Louis Nuremberg were awarded the Abel Prize for the contributions to the field of partial differential equations. I really feel like we're missing Greg on these. So he was born in Bluefield, West Virginia, and was the son of John Forbes Nash and Margaret Virginia Martin. He died in a car crash in New Jersey in 2015. So how are we lining up for these two profiles?
Just from eyeballing it, I think it's a lot closer than yeah, I'm seeing like an equal number come in.
Farrell's at 11 right now.
Okay, and John Nash is at 7.
He's my closest. He's my 10th cousin, twice removed.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And for me, John Nash, oh no, Farrell is my closest at 19. And is my 20th cousin once removed.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
How are we doing? How many Nash connections do we have for? Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. So the Farrell wins on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you said, Betsy, it was a pretty close one.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next set of profiles is let's see here, Salvador Dali and Sister Kinney. We'll bring those up for you. And there wasn't another artist, so I just paired him with Sister Kinney
Cool.
on this one. And Salvador is 30 degrees from me, and he only has 343 connections, whereas Elizabeth Kinney has 1693 connections, and she's only 22 degrees, so she's my closest. So Salvador was born in Catalonia, Spain. And of course, he's a famous artist. I love when we have their signature. There's just something about seeing,
that's cool.
seeing somebody's signature. And they have his full name there: Salvador Domingo Felipe Jacinto Dali Dominic. I probably murdered that, but so it kind of goes through his story of his life here, and this where he attended school for drawing, municipal drawing school. And he discovered modern painting on a summer vacation trip to Quebec. The next year, his father organized an exhibition of his charcoal drawings in their family home. And so he had his first exhibition at the Municipal Theater in 1918. He's then introduced to Futurism, and his uncle, who owns a bookshop in Barcelona, supplied him with books and magazines on Cubism and contemporary art. He said that the greatest blow he had experienced in his life was the death of his mother to uterine cancer. And it just talks more about his schooling that he went through. He had different workshops and exhibits. Just really very fascinating. His life span, what happened, and his art is just really fascinating, I think.
Yeah.
And they've got a picture here of the crypt where he's buried. He died in 1989 of heart failure at the age of 84.
Can we just take sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Just a timeout because we have a question in the chat. Alice is asking for a link to the challenge page, and you just look at your profile, Alice, and your connections to this group of people is at the bottom of the page. So that's how you can tell who you're closer to. So no special page.
And then the second profile is Sister Elizabeth Kenny. She was born in 1880 in New South Wales and died in 1952 in Queensland, Australia. So the work that made Kenny a world figure began in the Australian outback. Her feats were not in the laboratory. They were not watched by cheering crowds in the theater, nor were they on sports ground where so many other Australians have won world renown. Sister Kenny's principles of muscle rehabilitation instead of encasement and plaster cast for the victims of infantile paralysis, polio, became the foundation of physical therapy or physiotherapy. Few people know that Sister Kenny did not accept a penny for her work, either in salary or fees, for over 20 years. She managed to live on the royalties obtained from the stretcher, which she invented during World War I.
Huh.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying that's cool.
When the International Council for Physical Medicine awarded her a Golden Key of Physical Medicine in 1942, she was the first non-medical doctor to receive the honor. So I just thought that was really interesting. So it talks about her parents being an Irish-born Michael Kenny and an Australian-born Mary Moore. And because she had not undergone any formal nursing training, there were those who decried her use of the term sister, but it had been an official promotion equivalent to the Army rank of first lieutenant in 1917 during the Great War. And she used it for the rest of her life.
Wow.
So just really, really great written up profile there. Check that out. She was a bush nurse, and there's some really great information and images. Her service during the wars. She has medals that she was awarded. Well done biography and profile there. Definitely recommend checking that out. Okay, so where are we on the connections?
Dolly has 2 from the chat.
Yep. And Sister Kenny has 16.
Wow.
It's close. It's really close. Neither of them are cousins for me, but Kenny's the closest at 25 degrees.
I think, I forgot to mark down mine. I think she's my closest too. Let's see here. Yeah.
Kenny for me at 22, but not a cousin.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a clear winner on that one. Yeah. All right. Okay, and our last set of profiles are rebel leader Michael Dwyer and activist John Lewis. So we'll go ahead and pull those up here. Michael Dwyer, I believe, is my closest one at 22, and John Robert Lewis at 25 for me. But there's quite a gap between how many connections are on each profile. So Michael Dwyer, of course, has 2,667 profiles connected within 7 degrees, and John Lewis has 384. So you could definitely use some profiles added there. So Captain Michael, the Wicklow chief, governor of Glenmalure, Dwyer, I'm not going to murder the other names there, was born in 1772 in Camara, Glen Amal, County Wicklow, Ireland, and died in Liverpool in 1825. Liverpool, New South Wales. So there's a really full profile written up here. He was a captain in the Irish Rebellion of 1798, and he withdrew into the Wicklow Mountains, where he sustained a guerrilla campaign against the British Crown forces. He ended up losing everybody and through I believe it's through his wife, he was able to negotiate let me get to that part of the profile here. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. He married Mary Doyle in 1798 while still on the run. So he surrendered also in 1798. He was the only remaining leader, and no more than 15 men accompanied Dwyer. So in this profile, it's really well written up. He, I believe it's down here. Yeah. So in early December 1803, Dwyer realized his campaign to be unsustainable, and through his wife negotiated with William Hume of Humewood for cease in the campaign. So he laid down his arms in December of 1803. And though he was assured of being, safe because he surrendered, he was actually charged with high treason, imprisoned, and then they were sent to Australia. A few of the children actually didn't make it to Australia, though, until after his death. And that was in 1825. So just check that out. It's an interesting profile. Lots of great information. The second profile is John Robert Lewis, born in Alabama in 1940 to Eddie Lewis and Willie Mae Carter Lewis. And he died in 2020 in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, this profile is part of the U.S. Black Heritage Project. And at the top of the profile here, we see that he was in the U.S. House of Representatives, Georgia 5th District, from 1987 to July of 2020. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom and also the Spring Arm Medal for Outstanding Achievement by an African American. And he was also featured on a genealogy show. So he was an American politician and prominent civil rights leader. He served in the U.S. House of Representatives for Georgia's 5th Congressional District for over 20 years. He was involved in many civil rights actions. In 1965, he led the first 3 Selma to Montgomery marches across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where, in an incident which became known as Bloody Sunday, state troopers and police attacked Lewis and the other marchers. He graduated from American Baptist Theological Seminary in Nashville and Fisk University before he married his wife Lillian May Miles in 1968. Just a really great, another great profile here written up. And just talks about in 2010 is when he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
So Susie Carta asked in the chat, why are all these notables dragons? And I believe it would be because they were born in the year of the dragon.
Yes, that's correct.
That's this year that we're just entering in the Chinese New Year is the year of the dragon. So every 12 years you get another crop of dragons.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And do we have stickers for people who served in Congress? I'm sure we do. Seems.
I think it's a succession box.
Yeah, there's the succession box.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So where are we at? Is there no cousin for either of you for these profiles?
No cousin, and Dwyer's my closest at 25.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, Dwyer's my closest at 23, and neither are cousins.
All right. How is it looking in the chat?
0 for Lewis.
17 for Dwyer.
Yeah.
All right. So another clear winner on that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, those are your profiles of the week, everybody. Thank you for bearing with me on pronunciations.
Yeah, you did great. All right. Well, who wants to see some photos?
Me.
Yeah. Our photos this month, the theme is homes. So let me go over here and make this a little bit bigger. Now, this is a really cool pair of photos contributed by Alexis Nelson. And it's a photo of her grandparents' home in Muskogee, Oklahoma, where her father grew up. The first photo is 1920, and the little boy in front is her dad. And then the other photo, which is 2017, she was able to purchase the house in 2017, exactly 100 years after her grandparents bought it. There's Alexis. So I thought that was so special and meaningful.
Yeah.
And a beautiful house. I mean,
yeah, it is.
It's like a veranda.
Super cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Alexis, as always. Then we have this photo is from Rob Neff. And let's see. It's a little dark, but here's a picture of a log house taken by Helen Bean, probably late 1890s or early 1900s, turn of the century. She had a Brownie camera, developed the film herself, according to her daughter Ruth, who lived to be 101, and was a wonderful resource for family history. This log house was in central North Dakota, where typically they would have sod houses or dugouts, but this ranch was along a creek valley, and apparently there was a decent supply of timber there. So that's why it's not sod, but timber. She may have taken this picture in part to help them prove up on their homestead. I'm not sure exactly what to prove up means. Do either of you know?
No, I haven't heard that phrase.
Okay. I mean, something to do with ownership, I'm guessing, but...
Yeah. If you know in the chat, let us know.
Yeah. Then we have, let's see, this is from John Thompson. Johann George Wagner, his homestead in Perry, Oklahoma, around 1905. This was the home of his wife, Kathy's paternal great-grandparents' family. And during the recent visit of his wife's brother from Australia, when John said that he was researching the family tree on that side, his brother-in-law immediately showed me the same photo on his phone.
Funny.
So, yeah. And then let's see. So this is 2 shots of the same house.
Okay, I was like, that roof looks familiar.
Yep. It's just from a slightly different angle, but I was going back and forth and comparing the windows and the roof, and yeah, she says another photo. Yeah.
Huh.
So, now this one, let's see, this is from Pat Miller, and she says, this photo was taken in 1981 when I visited Owen Sound, Ontario with my father. It's the house where he grew up, built in 1908 by her grandfather, Charles Reuben Miller. He was a decorator, artist, and musician, and the lady who owned the house let me look around at the artistic plasterwork on the walls and ceilings. Her grandfather died in 1928 when her dad was 12, but he had a first memory from this house. And she said, look up to the attic window and imagine a 6-year-old with his face pressed against the pane. The memory was, I was playing by myself in the attic when I glimpsed a shiny black Model T pulling out of the driveway with Father at the wheel. The car is leaving on a trip and I am not aboard. A feeling of utter abandonment descends. The universe is collapsing.
Oh.
Really tugs at your heart. I'm going to make it so we can see it all in one view. Almost. It's a beautiful house.
Yeah, it is.
I love when houses have like a second floor porch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And now for the next one from
Can I
Emma.
interrupt for 1 second?
Yes, please.
Willadine explained what prove up means.
Oh, yes, tell us.
So part of the Homestead Act, you live on a property for 5 years, build a house, put in crops, and so forth to prove your residence there and that you're improving it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Prove up. Now we know.
Yeah, thank you, Willadine. And then our last photo came through on the Free Space page. So let me share that tab instead. So this was from M. Hot. And let's see what the description is. I'm gonna multitask with my devices here to read you what you wrote. Oh, I see. Actually, it's now showing on G2G. This is a photo of my home sometime before 1900 when major changes were made. The roof was raised, plumbing and wiring were done, and the mudroom and back porch were added. It was built circa 1806. I love my house.
Wow.
So that's super cool to live in a house with history.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I like the double chimneys.
Me too. Yeah. I'd like to go exploring in this house. It looks
Yes.
That looks fun.
good. Huh. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing, everybody. And it's only the 10th of the month. It's a leap year, so we have an extra day to have you put up your photos of your favorite family homes. Okay. So moving on to tip of the week. This was a tip that I tried to present 2 weeks ago, and I didn't do it very well. And it's such an awesome tip that I wanted to make sure that everybody saw how to do this. I got alerted to it by Donna Henley on Discord, and I've been using it all the time. So Max was the one who suggested that I show everything in a PowerPoint or Google Slides instead of trying to just screen share. So let me do that. Okay, now the tip is that when you are on Ancestry and you see a census record that you would like to share over to WikiTree, there's a way to quickly go over and find the same record on Family Search, which would be preferable because we know with the census records that's going to be on Family Search, and and there's no paywall, and the nice I know I've spent more time than I care to before I found this tip trying to find the same record on Family Search. So what you do is you're on the actual image of the record. You click your sorcerer button, which is the little one. I have it pinned, and you search Family Search from the image of the record, and you get this.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? How amazing is this?
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, top hit. And then, of course, you click on that, and you get the very nice, whoops, I lost myself. You get the very nice page where you can, down here, you have the citation, you just copy it, and off you go to your WikiTree profile. Now, in a few cases where I was doing this, I was on the record image, and it did something like this for me. I saw, instead of the normal pull-down menu for Sorcerer, I saw this. So I just tried go to record page, and then I was fine. I could do the exact same thing, David J. Shaver, 1880, and there it is. So
I'm so appreciative of our technologically inclined and advanced people who can do these things.
I know. This is, I just love this tip. So I hope you do too.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Ancestors to celebrate. We had 8. We didn't celebrate ancestors last February last week because we were showcasing our Dash of Love from January. So I got a little backlogged. What I'm going to do is we do have a few more Saturdays. So I'm going to share 4 this morning, and then show 4 and whoever else comes in the subsequent weeks. So let's go to that tab. Okay. So first ancestor we're going to celebrate is Elizabeth Althouse. Notice she's Althouse 2. So very few of this surname on WikiTree. She's the 5th great grandmother of Brad Cunningham, who's a leader in the Canada Project. And her link to February is that she married her first husband on February 13th in 1774. So she was a double loyalist, and both as the daughter of someone and the husband of somebody. She was born in Scotland, came to New York, and eventually was exiled to New Brunswick at the end of the Revolutionary War in 1782. There, she almost immediately gave birth to a son, George Ludwig de Beck, at Fort Howe, and shortly thereafter, tragically lost her husband to the first harsh winter of New Brunswick. So this is a really interesting profile. I was telling Brad, I really appreciated the documents he put on. She was married 3 times. After her second husband's death in 1784, she petitioned Edward Winslow. He must have been a government official in Canada, for assistance with the crown to be allotted land near her father so that she could better prosper as a widow with 2 children. So we've got muster rolls. We've got the letter to Edward Winslow. He, by the way, said yes. We have maps and and research notes. So a really interesting profile. Thank you for sharing, Brad.
Cool.
Yeah. Our next, now I think Alice Thompson is in the chat. So this is her husband's great-grandfather, Harry Lewis Finley. And his connection to February was that he was married on February 4th, 1904. An Illinoisian, but guess, spent the latter part of his life in Minnesota. And he was born July 6th on a homestead in LaSalle, Illinois. Still in Illinois, got married in Illinois, and then died in Minnesota. Let's see. Right. Okay. I think that's, and a nice photo. There he is. And a copy of the census.
Very distinguished.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Alice. Now, Christopher Peacock is, I've got to share this tab, another Canadian, M. Ross's husband's second great-granduncle. Okay. And his connection is that he was born the 1st of February in 1842. I'm quite sure that we've seen this photo. I remember this photo, this massive family reunion. The family's in Simcoe County, Ontario. And his middle name came from his mother. I always like to trace the provenance of names. And born, lived, and died in Simcoe County, Ontario, it looks like. And she's got all the censuses. Happy belated birthday to Christopher. Oh, and the other thing that she said was, I went to his profile to find an interesting tidbit about him, and then noticed his name was spelled wrong. He had been Christopher without the T. So I created his profile on October 26, 2019. So what I would like the WikiTree community to know is that after 4.25 years, I spelled his name right. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say M? It's M. Ross who contributed this profile. I think I missed it. And I wrote back and said, we've all been there. So thank you, M. Ross. And then our last profile to celebrate today is Will Corey, who is Patrick Holland's maternal grandfather. He had 2 marriages, and both took place in February. So that's his connection. And there's a really nice biography here. I'll read a few highlights from what Patrick wrote in the G2G post. Oh, by the way, Patrick was also born in February, and his father was born on Valentine's Day, and his middle name is Valentine.
Aww.
Patrick Valentine Holland. Very nice.
That's cute.
But he says he chooses his maternal grandfather, and he was married first to Mary Elizabeth Hale. They had 2 children, but tragically Mary died just 2 years later from Addison's disease. His second wife was Margaret Newman, from whom Patrick is descended. Both weddings were reported on Ireland, in Ireland's national newspapers, including photos.
Wow.
And William wore his Irish military uniform for his first wedding, having just enlisted a week before his wedding. And the 2 children from his first marriage were bridesmaid and page boy at the second wedding. It's very sweet. So it sounds like he had a extremely distinguished military career, fought in World War I with the Royal Dublin Fusiliers, and he was awarded the British War Medal and the Victory Medal. He also fought in the War of Independence and the Irish Civil War, and he was intelligence in the ASU Active Service Unit. So highly decorated, and as I said, a notable career. He died in Manchester in September 1966 at the home of his daughter from his first marriage, just 4 months after his second wife had died in Dublin. And Patrick said, I was lucky to have 5 years with him as we lived together as a family. So we have a picture. Oh, but I can't see it because it's protected. Okay. Yeah. So thank you to everybody, to all 8 of you who have shared your ancestors with us so far. And I get an email alert whenever those come in, and it always makes me really happy. So please keep them coming.
That's great.
Yeah. So what's coming up this week?
Let's take a look. Let's see. Put myself in here. All right. Where are we on here? Let's see. Lots of stuff. There's still the Saturday sourcing sprint today. If anybody wants to get on that, we'll get these links up here when they pop up in G2G. But we've got a new question of the week coming. 52 ancestors. Chris, if you want to give us a spoiler alert what the theme is, we're listening. There'll be a new connection combat and a data doctors challenge. And then we're doing a WikiTree tours on the 13th. Me and Azure and Julie, we're focusing on the letter B. So come and learn some stuff. We got an Ask Alesh. If you have any questions about WikiTree Plus or just want to, you can just learn just by being there, because there's so much to it that there's things we wouldn't even know to ask about.
That's right.
Betsy's got a new member Q&A on the 15th at 8 p.m. And
wait, oh no, I just had
No?
it. Yeah, I had it last Thursday.
Weird.
Yeah, so it's the second Thursday and the fourth Sunday of the month now. So
Never mind that one.
okay.
We'll fix it. And then we're back around to weekend chat and Saturday roundup next week. And if you haven't seen this, there are a ton of challenges this month. Like, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. It's crazy.
And then even we've got ongoing events. There's a Denmark mini challenge right now, a Nebraska one. The Black Heritage has this ongoing 1880 census project. There's the 16 for 16. So there's celebrate your ancestors, like we were just talking about. So much.
And it's such a great way to, if you're new, to learn more about WikiTree, is to partake in some challenges and events. So
Get to know people, and people are eager to help if you have questions. So.
And the new week for social media is posted up on the social media page. It's ready to go. We'll start filling it in as the week proceeds. So just looking forward, we're going to have the Galliano Cemetery in Galliano Island is going to be the cemetery spotlight. The question of the week will, of course, be filled in once that goes out. One Name Tuesday will be Wharton, and we'll load up the Connection Combat profile when that's live. And there's a link there to the tree tours that Eowyn just mentioned. We're focusing on the letter B. One Place Wednesday.
Fun.
One Place Wednesday will be in Sharon, Connecticut. So look forward to that. And there's a link here for the WikiTree Plus Ask Alesh episode that will be going out. And the project showcase this upcoming week will be Appalachia biscuits. Connection Finder and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame spotlights will be posted out here when they're live. And the Meet Our Members will be here once we have that towards the beginning of the week. Usually I think it's about Tuesday it'll show up on the homepage. And on Wednesday, of course, we get it on our newsletter. And then, of course, next Saturday, same bat channel, same time, everything, except for you'll have Mags and Greg back with Betsy for the Saturday roundup next Saturday. So that's.
Can I invite myself back next week to talk about Connection Combat?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're still tweaking a little bit, so I want to make sure we're done with the big tweaks before we explain something that is going to change.
Okay.
It's really been fun to see how that's taken off since it first started at the beginning of the year, and just how much people love to do it. And
Yeah,
Where-
there we started with like one way to win, and now I think there's 10 plus some yearly winners, and it's fun.
That's awesome.
Terrific. Well, this has been so much fun.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course, absolutely. Anytime. So, well, we will. I guess we'll wish everyone a great WikiTree week, and we'll see you around the tree and back here next Saturday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.